I had a good experience working with schools to get accommodations under Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act. When I attended my neighborhood high school, I met with a team of teachers that included a specialist in serving students who are deaf, general education teachers, an administrator, and my mother. I'm profoundly deaf, which means I don't hear anything without hearing aids. Even with hearing aids, I hear very little. As a result, I needed to have some accommodations. I was a good student. In fact, I was enrolled in several college prep classes, so it was essential that I have a skilled sign language interpreter who could keep up with the challenging vocabulary and help me. I also needed someone who would take notes for me because I couldn't watch my interpreter and take notes at the same time. We also asked the school to use instructional films that were closed captioned with subtitles. I was assigned a qualified, skilled interpreter that worked with me one-on-one. We arranged for a student in each of my classes to give me a copy of their notes. As time went on, more of the films had subtitles. These accommodations were what made my school experience successful. By providing these supports for me, it leveled the playing field for me as a student attending school with kids who didn't have the special needs I had. It required an investment of resources for the school to provide these support services for me under Section 504. I was fortunate to work with educators and administrators who understood my needs, the requirements of the law, and were willing to work with me to ensure my success. Later, when I attended the community college, I worked with a counselor to arrange for these same accommodations. However, in the college setting, I had more than one skilled interpreter in order to cover my varied class schedules. At this level, there were usually 2 interpreters with me in every class. They would switch about every 15 minutes. I also had note takers and other accommodations as my needs changed. College was a good experience for me on many levels. They also provided interpreters for the activities, clubs, and other events that I was involved with. When I started working, I was fortunate to work for a large banking corporation. At first, I was hired into an entry-level job. My employer provided sign language interpreters for my interview prior to being hired, one that worked with me during training, and interpreters were provided for staff meetings and other staff development trainings. I was able to communicate in a number of ways with my supervisors and coworkers, but sometimes I needed them to make simple accommodations like writing something down so I could understand. Sometimes we used a computer to type a conversation. My employer also provided me with a TDD telephone. Later, as technology advanced, they provided me with a video phone that allowed me to make and receive telephone calls using relay services. These are all accommodations provided as a result of Section 504 and other laws that protect the civil rights of individuals with disabilities. I was successful in my employment and had the opportunity to be advanced into several positions. I appreciated that my employer was committed to their responsibility under the law and recognized that I could do the work with some supports.